Oh, that was like too hot. Too hot. Law and Disorder. What's up, guys?
Hey.
I'm Sergio.
I'm Kate, as you well know.
And we are very hungover, very tired, very worn out from our long weekend.
Your weekend was longer than mine.
My weekend was a tad longer than yours, I will admit. I was in Las Vegas for roughly 3 days. And yeah, it was pretty long. It was eventful, but it was long.
Let me guess. So you went to Vegas, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to Vegas.
Yeah. So did you go see the Thunder from Down Under? Because that's what I want to do when I go to Vegas.
No, I can just look in the mirror and I can see that.
Oh,
I don't want to.
Snap.
I don't want to just like, it's just another Tuesday at the Bettencourt house. You know, I don't want to do that.
You see that every day. You don't need to go pay to see that.
I look down every day out of the shower and I'm like, oh. Except mine's more like, it should be a cool name, like something about south of the border. What's it, like the jalapeno south of the border or something?
The habanero.
The habanero. Small yet spicy.
Damn.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, tell us about your fun-filled weekend in Vegas.
So we went to Vegas on Wednesday morning. We left Dallas. We flew out of Dallas at 6 a.m., which means you have to get to the airport at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Which means I had to leave the house at like 3, which means I had to wake up at like 2:30. So yeah, it was like this whole thing. We get to Vegas at 7:15 in the morning, and we're wandering around doing our Vegas thing. We check into the hotel at like 10 a.m., you know, after we've had breakfast and after we've played a little bit, granted. We stayed at Caesar's Palace. And no, Caesar really didn't live there.
Aww.
But if he did, it was a badass place.
You send me pictures.
Like, Caesar's Palace is amazing. I've gambled there, but I've never actually stayed there. And it was me and my parents went, my girl, and her friends Ron and Michael, her little gay besties. So me, Ron, and Michael, and my girl all stayed in one room. We had 2 beds, and my mom and dad stayed in another room. You know, they had their king bed or whatever. But like, the rooms were crazy nice. Like, in some hotels, they're a suite. At Caesar's Palace, they're just another room. They were freaking awesome. We had a poolside view. The pool is not one pool. It's like a pool area. There's like 9 pools total in this pool area. Like, there's one big pool, and there's all these little mini pools in the corner. There's a waterfall pool. Mm-hmm. There's like a DJ booth. There's bars. I mean, and it's heated. So the second day we were there, it was really cold outside, but a lot of people were out there swimming.
Nice.
It was heated. It was awesome.
It's like a giant hot tub.
Yeah. Oh, the bathtub in the room was like a small swimming pool.
Dang.
I mean, it was awesome. I was digging it, you know.
Only the best for Sergio.
Only the best for me, yeah. They're like, oh, Sergio, you've spent so much money. You've lost so much money with our company. We're going to give you one of the best rooms ever. So I enjoyed the room. Vegas itself was great. Good food. There's always good food in Vegas. We went and saw J-Lo on Wednesday night. We were down in the pit.
Like, you saw a lot of people.
We were down the very front, down the pit. J-Lo's stage, like the end of the stage where she comes out to, spells J-Lo.
Oh,
it's all illuminated and it spells J-Lo, and that's the end of the stage. And like, I got close enough to J-Lo where I could smell what she had for lunch. And I'm not even making that up.
What'd she have?
I think she had a taco. Probably some cheese in there too. Extra beans maybe. But here's what's funny. There was this guy that was taking a bunch of pictures next to us. Mm-hmm. And at one point he almost got kicked out because there was a security guard right there on the rail. And the guy was doing this shit, filming J-Lo. And he went like that and he bumped the security guard. Kind of like tell him get out of the way. And they almost kicked him out for that. Because, you know, he was kind of being a dick. So they let him stay. He was kind of pleading his case. They let him stay. So fast forward to 5 minutes later. This is towards the end of the show. J-Lo comes over to right there where we're at. And granted, this douchebag is sitting right next to us or standing right next to us. And J-Lo sticks her hand out and she's down below and she's like doing this shit, trying to touch everybody. Mm-hmm. This jack-off pushes my girl out of the way and shoves his hand right there. And my girl was like, this motherfucker, I could have touched J-Lo. Like, my girl was like this far away from touching J-Lo. She was like inches away from touching J-Lo, and this douchebag just like Bowed his ass in there. Ooh, boy. Talk about a hot Mexican woman there. She was mad.
Was that guy gay?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I was like, no straight guy would have done that.
There were super gay guys there. I mean, but it was fun. It was cool. There were people there that were like 17, 18-year-olds all the way up to about 60. Like 60-year-old Latinas. And it was straight up girls' night, man.
Oh, I bet.
The girl to guy ratio was like 20 to 1.
And I bet half the guys were gay.
Yeah, and the other half were guys that got drug along with their girl.
Like you.
Yeah. But J-Lo didn't disappoint. Really good show. She did this striptease like halfway through the show. And like, you wanted to throw dollar bills at her. I'm not making this up. This girl got like down and dirty. She came out like on a big chase lounge that was shaped like a stiletto. So, it's got like a curve to it.
Uh-huh.
And J-Lo she was working that curve, man. Mm-hmm. She was grinding up on that thing. And you're just like, man, she's somebody's mom. She's mom to 2 kids.
She's someone's daughter.
She's 40-something years old. And she's like, Mother Nature, I got you.
She doesn't look her age.
No, my
all.
God. I've got tons of pictures of her.
How old is she again?
I think she's 46.
I thought she was like 42.
No, I think she's 46 and her boyfriend A-Rod is 40. I think he's 41 or 42.
So she's almost 50.
Yeah, and oh man, she doesn't look it at all. She's beautiful.
Okay, I knew she was getting up there. I knew she was over 40, but I always thought she still looked like my age.
Well, this time last year, I saw Britney.
That gives me hope.
I saw Britney Spears in concert, and I was in this exact same seating area, the same standing room area, and I saw Britney that close. Dude, Britney's got nothing on J-Lo, looks-wise. J-Lo is like 12, 14 years older than her. Mm-hmm. And J-Lo's just, oh my God, she's aged really great. I don't know who she sold her soul to, but she's looking good.
Yeah, she looks really good.
So we saw J-Lo. Great time. Who else did we see? We saw Chris Angel.
Mind freak.
Chris Angel, if you don't know him, he's a magician. Mm-hmm. He had that show Mind Freak. He's the guy that's like known for levitating. Like he's done all kinds of levitation stuff where he's like walked on buildings and walked on water and levitated and shit.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with magic, obviously, right?
Enough.
Okay, you know how they have the old trick where they like, okay, Kate, you're next to me, or I'm the magician and you're the assistant, and I show you, and then I put up the cloak and put it down and you're gone, and Kate's disappeared, and a second later or a minute later, Kate's over here on the other side of the room. This fool was doing that, but it would be like, all right, Kate, we're gonna cover you, we're gonna lower you, and Kate's gonna be right here. There's no way there's no trap door that's fast enough. And he did this 7 or 8 times during the show. It wasn't just one time. He did several of these where it was like, okay, she's right here. I'm going to cover up, throw the sheet down. She's gone. Bam, she's over here within half a second. How is that real? How is that real? He levitated. He walked up he walked down a ladder. Like he got to the top of the ladder and he just walked down. He floated in the air.
It's all harnesses and crap.
How?
They got special harnesses you can't see.
And it's called Mother Nature and balls, apparently. I mean, some of the stuff he did was just crazy.
It's special effects, man, and all those pyrotechnics that they can do nowadays.
But his show was cool because he's very gothic.
Yeah.
And he had a band. He had like a live band that were playing his music, like playing his background music. But it's like very industrial metal, lights and strobes and, a lot of music, a lot of bass. Really cool show. So it's not just magic. It's like a whole like event. He came out and he was pulling random people out. He was giving you like a piece of paper, and if it had his name on it, then they call you up on stage. So that was cool for me because he got like from like me to you, he threw me a piece of paper.
Oh, nice.
He didn't have his name on it, but it was cool. And it's like, oh cool, I got this close to this guy. But he just did all these really cool tricks, and you're just like, man, this guy's awesome. And then it's like really, really dark. Like it's really like a dark show. Very, like I said, very gothic, industrial. And then in the middle of it, or towards the end of it, it gets really somber because he starts talking about like kids that have had cancer and like his foundation. I didn't know he had a little kid that died. that died from cancer.
Like a child?
Yeah, he had a child, like his own personal child died a few years back from cancer. Yeah, it was really sad. And then the show kind of turned to like uplifting and like, you know, you can do everything through God and all that. Like for being very gothic, he was very spiritual. And then at the end, he was telling everybody about his foundation, and he's like, "Hey, I've got these 2 boxes outside. With every money, every dollar that you put in there goes towards his foundation." So you go out there and you put $1 in there, and the damn thing's shoved full of money. Like you can't even put money in there anymore; it's so full. But it was a really cool show. Like it was probably one of the better shows I've seen in Vegas. After that, I went and saw this show called Divas at the Flamingo. My girl, her gay besties, yeah. Divas was just a bunch of drag queens, like dressed up like Madonna and Whitney Houston.
Sounds about right. That's what I was thinking.
Gwen Stefani. There was a Katy Perry one, and it was actually probably the most entertaining show that we saw because they were actually singing.
Yeah, those guys are good.
They were drag queens that were singing.
Those girls are good.
They were singing, and it was pretty fun. I was thoroughly entertained. It was very Vegas-y. Like they had like lounge chairs and like the circle tables where you could sit at. And all. It was probably the most Vegas-y show I saw, like old school Vegas. So we did that. We did a lot of gambling, obviously. My mom won $5,000 on a slot machine.
Kudos to her.
Yeah.
Congrats. I
didn't come back homeless or poor, so
or dead.
Except for on the trip back on the airplane, I almost died. I did the zip line.
They went through turbulence and you freaked out. Oh yeah, you did the zip line.
I did the zip line over Fremont Street, which is the old downtown. Now, on the zip line, there's 2 zip line packages that you can buy. There's one that only goes like through half of Fremont Street, and the other one goes the length of Fremont Street. And Fremont's pretty long, so we didn't know which one we had paid for. We had pre-purchased online, and we're sitting there and we're like, okay, do you want to do like the sit down style or do we want to do the Superman style where you're like laying down doing this shit?
Oh, Superman style all the way.
Well, we're both talking and we're like, you know what, I probably want to do the sit down because that way if my harness were to break, I can at least grab onto something and I have a chance. Like that was our fear. So we end up going higher than normal because we didn't realize that we were doing the longer package. So you go higher up in the air. And once we get up there, we realize that everybody has to do Superman style. So then we're like, oh, shit. And you go down this thing and like you're going and you're just like, okay, this is pretty awesome. And then once you get to about the halfway point, once you go over the other people that have already stopped, then there's like nobody beneath you and all you see is pavement. And at that point, reality hits and you're like, oh, fuck, I could die. So then you get to the end. And you kind of slow down, but not really. And I always thought like maybe it would like there's a break and it slows you down. No, there's a bumper. And you just smack into this bumper. You're supposedly going 30 to 35 miles an hour. So you're just flying like Superman and you really think that you're going to slow down. Nobody's told you that there's just a bumper. And you smack into this bumper and it slings you back about 10 to 15 feet. And now there's about 3 seconds where you're just kind of sitting here, and then gravity kind of slows you back in.
Okay.
And you finally get into your spot. But when you're just hanging there, you're literally just staring down at the pavement. You're like 20 feet up at that point. You're like, maybe I really will die now. It was an awesome trip. I've been to Vegas a few times, but that was probably one of the more awesome ones I've been to.
I want a zip line so bad.
I don't know if I want to do that one again, but I think I want a zip line.
Well, I'll have to make a trip to Vegas at some point. I've been meaning to go.
I'm going back in December to go see George Strait.
I love him.
This will be my second time in Vegas to see George Strait. I'll probably go back at some point during the summer. We try to go like twice a year. We've already been twice this year. And we already have a third one booked in December. So maybe we'll fit one more in. But it was fun. It was long. I got home at like 2 a.m. Saturday morning. I had to go to work at 10.
Ugh.
I went to work all day, and I'm just kind of dragging. At this point,
Yeah.
That was Saturday, so now we're Monday, and I'm just kind of like,
Man, after this, I'm going to go home and pass out.
So, it was exciting. I mean, I recommend it to anybody.
I definitely want to go. I mean, I think either you have a good time in Vegas or you have a bad time. I don't think you can really have an in the middle.
You're probably right. I don't know if I've had a bad time in Vegas. I've gotten really drunk. Mm-hmm. This time I was really drunk, but I survived.
I mean, I think the only way you have like a bad time in Vegas is if, you lose a crap ton of money.
Very quickly.
Very quickly,
The people that lose money really quickly.
Like you lose all your money like that, and then it's like, well, I have no more money. How am I supposed to enjoy the rest of Vegas?
Vegas will eat you alive if you let it.
So.
But it's fun. So, the moral of the story is go to Vegas.
And take enough money.
Take enough. Assume that you're going to lose every penny that you have. And for me, it was considered a moral victory because I came home with $200 that I left with, and I never had to go to the ATM. Mm-hmm. Usually, I run out of all my money, and I go to the ATM at least once or twice. So for me, it was a moral victory because I spent a shitload of money, but not more than I didn't go into the reserves. So that's a good victory. My mom, on the other hand, had a pocket full of money. So.
And don't let anybody, I don't care who they are, do not let that bitch push you out of the way and prevent you from touching J-Lo. You get up in there and you grab that hand.
Man, she was hot. I could do a whole segment on J-Lo's hotness.
Oh God, let's not.
I didn't know J-Lo was that hot. Like, I mean, I knew she was hot, but like when you see her like that, you're like, man, it's like looking at a unicorn or something.
Like it's magic.
It's like looking at a rainbow straight in the eye. Yeah, it was. That booty's magical.
She does have a nice butt.
She is magical. Oh my God, she's magical. So
let's end there on J-Lo's butt.
We're gonna end. I'd love to end on J-Lo's butt.
Awesome.
So on behalf of myself and Miss Kate, we are Law and Disorder, and we will see you guys next video.
Bye.